will uni ever feel like home? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to any new watchers. So today's video is going to be slightly different, but I basically was clearing out a box the other day and I found a list of questions I had written to ask people on open days about uni. So today I'm going to go through those questions and I'm going to answer them for you guys based on my experience of my first year. These questions are in no order, but I feel like they will relate to most people. So I'm just going to get straight into the video, and the first question I had for myself was, do I have to go out during freshers? Now before uni I liked going out but not all the time, so the thought of having to go out on freshers every night was kind of a bit of a worry for me, I guess. From my first year I can say that no, you don't have to go out if you really don't want to. I know at UEA especially they had like daytime activities as well as evening ones, so some people just went to the daytime ones, some people did a bit of both. I think as a whole our flat went out twice, which for me was enough. Some people had the wristbands, they went out more. But yeah, I think I went out twice during freshers, that was enough for me and that was okay. There was like no peer pressure to go out anymore. Okay, next question, and this one really confused me. The question I had was, are clubs and societies the same thing? Now, I can't speak for other unis here, but at UEA, clubs and societies are slightly different. So the clubs are the sports clubs. For example, I do dance, there's gymnastics, there's athletics, swimming, anything like that. And then the societies are things like baking and music, so that aren't sport related. So the next question I had was, do we really get Wednesday afternoon off for sport? I'd heard a lot of people say this at uni, that you'll get Wednesday afternoon off for sport, and I thought that meant you had to do sport. You don't have to. I know most people do tend to get all of Wednesday afternoon off. Some people do use it for sport. I just tended to use it to catch up on work, or for example on Wednesday evening I just had a chill night where I just didn't do anything. Okay, next one that I had was, will the work be hard? Now, this is a difficult one to answer. Obviously the work is going to be harder because it's university, it's a level up from A-levels or BTECs or whatever course you were doing before. So obviously the work is hard. Some of the readings I had were really long and I just didn't understand them. And in fact there was a whole module in my first semester where I only understood one little part of it. However, having said that, in that module I still managed to get a first in my essay because there's so much independence at uni, you can choose your questions for essays. So I was able to choose a question on that tiny little part of the course I actually understood, if that makes sense. So yes, the work is hard, but I feel like there's more independence so you can still do well. So the next question I had was, if you're on a campus uni, will it be only first years in campus accommodation? Now generally yes, it is only first years. However, I know at UEA, and I'm sure other unis do this, they kind of reserve rooms for other people as well in case they want to stay on or anything goes wrong with their house. Okay, so will people at uni all be mature, or will some people still be a little bit immature? This is a question I had and I was kind of surprised by this when I got to uni. I don't know why, I just kind of thought everyone would be quite mature and it'd be almost like a business environment, like a work environment. I found that's not the case, so a lot of people are mature, they all take things seriously. A lot of people really aren't. I feel like a lot of people are there just for like the party life rather than to actually get a degree. So yeah, that's one thing to expect when you go to uni. So this question kind of feeds in with the last one, and it was, would I feel older than most people at uni because I took a gap year? Obviously, if you've listened to my answer for the last question, then sometimes yes, I did feel more mature or older than some other people. However, there are so many other people that have taken gap years, there are other people who are really mature. So I feel like as long as you're kind of willing to accept anyone in your friendship group, whether they're your age or younger or older, then it will be fine and you'll just get along with everyone anyway. Okay, this one I feel is really important to answer. I don't know if it was just me that didn't know what this was, but I didn't actually know like what a seminar was. And I felt too stupid to ask on open days when I was looking around because I felt like everyone just assumes you know what they are. So obviously at uni you have lectures and seminars. Lectures are, you know, like your whole cohort in one big lecture theatre, one person just speaking for the whole time. Whereas seminars will be smaller groups of maybe 15, 20 people, and it's more of a discussion. It's not like A-levels when you have the teacher there just telling you about the event. Again, I feel this one is really, really important to talk about. So I didn't have a clue how uni work was graded. So I got my first essay back and I think I got 65. And I thought, oh my god, that's terrible. But then the seminar leader explained to me that basically no one gets over 70 in the first assessment, and basically hardly anyone gets over 70 throughout the whole year because 70 is a first. 60 is a 2-1. That's obviously really different to A-level. If I got 65 during A-level, I'd have been really upset, but actually at uni, that's pretty good. Next question I had was, is it easy to get a job at uni? This one was really important to me because I knew I wasn't gonna have parental support financially, and so I needed a job straight away. And the answer is yes. I feel like it is quite easy to get a job at uni. I feel like as long as you've got a little bit of experience, then you can easily get a job on campus. So at UEA, there are jobs in the bar, in the shop, etc. So I actually work in the campus shop at UEA, and it pays really well, it's really flexible, so that was perfect for me. So there are a lot of jobs available on campus, but then there are also a lot in the city as well. So actually I feel like it is quite easy to get a job at uni. So next question I had was, should I join a club or society? And yes, 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 you definitely should. This is because, especially on my course, I don't have many contact hours a week, so we might go into a lecture for an hour and then come out and we probably won't see those people again for like another day or two. It's obviously different if you're on a course like med, which is really different because you're probably going to be with your cohort like 9 till 5 every day. But for people that are on smaller courses, I feel like it's really difficult to make friends on your course. So most of my friends are from the clubs and societies that I have joined. So once I picked my uni, I then thought, how do I choose what accommodation I want? I watched so many videos on YouTube of accommodation, I still couldn't choose. But I would advise when you're picking your accommodation, firstly, obviously if you're on a campus uni, decide whether you definitely want to be on campus for first year or off campus, because a lot of unis will have like partner accommodation, or you can rent a house, anything like that for your first year as well. So once you've decided that, then decide whether you definitely want an ensuite or not. Some people do, some people don't. And then, I can only speak for UEA here, but generally the more expensive the accommodation gets, kind of the less social it gets, but the quieter it gets. So for me, I would rather have been in a quieter accommodation, and then I can go elsewhere if I want to, you know, go out or anything like that. But I wanted to be in a quiet accommodation so I knew I could sleep and work. Okay, my next question was, what is the best way to make friends? Now, as I've said, personally, I would say that clubs and societies are probably your best way of making friends. I think you'll naturally make friends on your course anyway, but it's also really nice to have friends elsewhere that share common interests with you as well. Now the next question, and I know if you haven't even started uni yet, then this probably seems really, really early to think about it, but it's how do you find a house in second year? Now this kind of creeps up on you. You feel like you're just starting to get to know people and you already have to start thinking about a house. But I know at UEA they have kind of a list of affiliated landlords that they trust on a site called Home Run, which is really, really useful, and we did use that to find our house for second year. I'm sure other unis will have that as well. But you can also just look on like Rightmove, Zoopla, anywhere like that. There's an option for student houses that you can filter. This question really panicked me, and it links in with the last question. I'd heard so many people say that you have to sort your uni house out before Christmas, which is really soon, considering that some people don't start uni till October. That's not a lot of time to like get to know people and get to know who you want to live with. Obviously, if you can sort it before Christmas, then brilliant, it gets off your mind, but I really don't think it has to be sorted before Christmas. I think we got ours sorted like late January, and there were still loads of houses available at that point. And our landlord actually said that usually he gets people call him in like July asking for a house. So it really doesn't have to be sorted before Christmas. Next question that I had for first year was, how easy is it to move accommodation if I don't like it? And actually it's fairly easy. As long as you have someone that wants to swap rooms with you, then I know at UEA they are willing to do that. And I know a lot of people who actually did do this, and it worked out really well for them. Next question I had was, how many hours a week should I be doing of work for uni? Now obviously this will vary depending on your course, depending on the time of year. Obviously everyone knows if they have an exam or an essay coming up, then they're gonna have to put in more work than they usually would. But for me, for my history course, we had prep work for each seminar, and every semester we had 3 modules, and each module seminar took me about 2 hours a week. So that was about 6 hours a week worth of prep work, and we usually then had an essay due in as well. So in total, I'd say I was probably doing 20 to 25 hours a week, but then I know a lot of people didn't do that much and still did well, so I'd say 20 is probably a really good benchmark. So I'd heard so many people say that your first year of uni will definitely be easier than your second year of A-level, so how true is that? From my experience, my first year was definitely easier than my second year of A-levels. I think part of that was the fact that I was living by myself, I had more control over my whole life and my independence. It was just generally quieter to work, so I could work better, things like that. And although my first year of my degree didn't actually count towards my final degree, I still treat it as if it did, and I still would say that I found it easier than second year of A-levels. Some people have added stress of living alone, whereas other people will love that, so that could impact your work as well. So just don't forget that everyone works at different levels, everyone's journey is different, and it really doesn't matter if you find it easier or not. Next question I had for myself was, will I be really busy at uni? I just generally quite like to stay busy, and obviously again this will depend on the course you're doing and the type of person you are. So again, if you're doing a course like Med, you know you're going to be busy, you know you're going to have lectures probably 9 till 5 every day, you'll have placement, things like that. Whereas with my course I have 10 contact hours a week. So actually with my course I wasn't very busy in my first year, but I filled my time with other stuff. So I had work, I would play my guitar, I would go to my sports clubs and my societies, things like that. So I think it really depends on the type of person you are, but there's a lot of opportunity to keep yourself busy at uni. This question has got to be something that everyone thinks about, I think, and it was, will I be okay at uni or will I feel lonely? Now, for me, I come from a really big family, so you'd think that I would feel really lonely at uni. Actually, I love it. I love the peace and quiet, whereas other people might feel lonely because of that. But like I said before, there are so many things you can be doing at uni to keep yourself busy, to meet new people, so that you don't feel lonely. The next question I had for myself was, how often do people go out at uni? And I asked myself this question because I kind of assumed there would be a peer pressure to go out, like with your flat or your friends. And I just want to reiterate that there really isn't. If people are pressuring you to go out, then perhaps they're not the best of friends. But generally, you can kind of do your own thing at uni. It really doesn't matter if you don't want to go out, if you only go out once a month, once a week, whatever. You can really do whatever you want. So at UEA, I think me and my friend worked out once that literally a Monday evening was the only night that you couldn't go out. So you could literally go out every other night if you wanted to. There's like a club night on a Tuesday and a Saturday, so there's opportunity for that. But if you don't want to go out, you really don't have to. I never really felt like there were any expectations at uni, and I really like that. This question is quite important, and I asked myself, will uni ever feel like home? Because, you know, a room at uni feels like a bit of a cardboard box, but essentially that will eventually feel like home because you're there all the time, you're with your flat who you'll hopefully get along with. And I think for me, by about late October, early November, it felt weird to come home or to see my family because uni did feel like home. The last question I had for myself, and you'll probably think this was a bit strange, but I asked, do people really wear joggers for uni, like for lectures and things? And I think I asked this because I wanted to know, like, will people judge what you wear? The answer is no. I've seen so many strange, weird and wonderful outfits at uni. No one judges you. I think you could literally turn up in a black bin bag and no one will really care. Everyone has like their own individual style, and that's one of the things I really love about uni is that you don't really get judged for anything like that. So I'm now just going to give out a little bit of advice that I have gained from my first year. First piece of advice that I have is just to try and push yourself out there. I know this is super difficult in your first week or two, but for example, if your society or club that you want to join is putting on a social for new members, then just go, even if it's only for like 15 minutes or half an hour. Because essentially, don't forget that those people have put on the social because they want to welcome in new members, they want to meet people, and they're probably going to be really friendly and really nice. Second piece of advice is that uni will be stressful at times, so make time for things you enjoy. Don't forget that uni, obviously you're there for the degree, but you're also there for other stuff as well. You're there to meet people, you're there to do stuff you enjoy, to experience living away from home. And especially if your first year doesn't count towards your final degree, then don't stress about it too much. I over-stressed about mine too much, about my grades, but really it doesn't matter if you get a bad grade as long as you know how you can learn from that. And the last thing I would say is just give yourself time. I had so many panic attacks in my first semester because I felt like everyone around me was creating friendship groups and I just felt a bit left behind. But for me personally, I just take quite a long time to get to know people, and that's okay. I know now that that's okay, but at the time it just felt really horrible. I felt like I had no friends to start off with, but I have really good friends now who I appreciate so much. So as always guys, if that video has been helpful, then give it a big thumbs up for me and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.